How you doing, guys? This is Eric from RuleTheWasteland.com, BuyThermite.com. This is the latest Battlebox from Battlebox.com, as you can see here. B-A-T-T-L-B-O-X, no E. If you haven't seen my videos on this before, you know that it's a subscription service similar to all the different kinds they have out there, like Box for pets or Survivalist Box for similar things to this, or the clothing ones, and all these other stuff where you sign up for a monthly subscription, and then you get a box full of gear in whatever category that you want to try out, and then you keep getting it every month. You can cancel whenever you want, but it's a really cool way to find out about new gear and get stuff that you might not have thought of or might not have heard of. And they sent me this box. It's like the last time. I'm not getting paid or reimbursed for doing the review other than that. They're just getting the box. So let's rip into it, man. They got a couple different size boxes. This is one of the bigger ones. And the cool thing about Battlebox is they tend to have a theme, or like they call it a mission. So all the gear in here, or at least most of it, will be oriented towards completing whatever that mission is. So the last one was setting up a shelter, and this one like cutting down trees to build some kind of field expedient shelter. And I don't know what this one's going to be, so we'll find out. All right. This is your advantage. Master the art of self-reliance. There's an app for survival. This is the box once again, the thing that shows everything that's in here and tells you about the mission. But I like to see if I can figure out what it is here. As always, they have filled with this shredded paper, which you can use for either tinder or packing. I like to sell stuff online on eBay and Amazon. And shredded paper like this can be a good packing material, or it's also a good brown for your composting. Mix it with your food scraps. I have a little compost bin that I put in my kitchen. I think it's a Norpro stainless steel bin, and it's great to, every time I empty it, when I put it back in the kitchen, I put a couple handfuls of shredded paper like this in the bottom. That way when you throw food scraps in there, the juices don't get stuck to the side and dirty your container all up. And then it also acts as the browns for the food scraps, so it works both ways. What we got first here is a Happy Camper 2-in-1 LED ceiling fan. That's pretty cool. So you got your light and your fan. A little large if you were going on like a backpacking style camping, but if you're doing a typical thing that most families do where you're driving up and you're not really having to hike with all the gear on your back, might not be a bad idea, especially in some place around here like Florida, northern Georgia, or even any of the southern states. Very lightweight. So you got your light, or you can move the light and have the fan. Interesting idea. Have to do some actual product testing with some of this stuff too. But for now, I'm just going to show you what's in the box. It's a pretty cool idea. Like I said, a little big for something to take camping. You can see how big that is here in my hand. It's about 8 inches square, 6 or 8 inches square. But at least a good idea. This looks like a collapsible cup of some kind. Or maybe not a cup, it's got a hole in it. Let's see if we can figure this out. It's definitely some kind of silicone collapsible pop open strainer, I guess? It's definitely got a hole in the bottom. Yeah, so we'll see if we can figure out what this thing is. I'm not sure if it's a strainer because it only has the 2 little holes. We'll find out in a second. Here's a credit for a camping website. Here we have a Boker, which is a knife company. Boker Plus. Alright, it's a pretty cool Swiss Army knife style knife. It's got some heft to it, nice and solid. I like the kind of foliage green. Interesting pattern on there. Could be micarta, I think. I'm not sure what that is. It almost looks like a little thing for breaking windows or something. So you have a little, let's see if you can do it. Have a little punch on there. So you could go pow. And of course we got the regular blade. It's a pretty slick knife. Ooh, I like that little pliers instead of just some weak sauce tweezers. The saw. It's pretty sharp, nice coarse teeth pattern on there. You do have your little scissors. It's a serrated little cutter of some kind. Let me see if I can get a... I'm learning from Nothing Fancy here and have the sheet to hold up. We've got the screwdriver. We've got the corkscrew. And all. Not a bad blade, man. Feels pretty solid. Which way am I doing this? There we go. Cool knife. I'm liking that one. Let's see if we have a model number on here. Doesn't say. O1B0816 maybe? Let's see. Good knife. Digging that so far. Ooh, cool. You know, I just went on a camping trip. I could eat so much of this stuff. I'll have to tell you guys the tales of my camping trip. It was badass. 11 national parks. I'm sorry, 6 national parks, 11 states. 2 weeks, over 4,000 miles. So this is an inflatable pillow, super lightweight. Climate is the company. I had a similar one, but it was, I think mine was a Thermarest, but it wasn't nearly this lightweight. This one's fairly big too. And this is what you want, man. This has the real type of valve on here. If you get older stuff that just has the regular plastic thing, like on a pool float or something, those, they wear out. They're really hard to like get closed while you're still blowing it if they don't have a valve. It's just not the best technology. So all the new stuff like the Thermarest air mattresses that they make nowadays, you know, that you'll find at REI and stuff, that has this good valve on there. This is incredibly lightweight. Probably only weighs less than 2 ounces. So that's great. Ah, maybe not. 2.25 ounces. Very close though. That's with the case as well. So not very heavy at all. And this looks like the same thing from the same company, Climate. This is 3 ounces, but instead of a pillow, it is a seat cushion. So I mean, obviously we're talking about, oh, that's weird. So you can, I'm guessing this is long, so you can put, either sit on it 2 people side by side, or maybe put half of it like that, half of it up your back. Do all sorts of stuff with it. Or you could use it as like a weird body pillow, because it's basically the same. I like that. It's another thing from the brand. Sleeping pad. Yes. Now this is super, super small, compact for a sleeping pad. 47 by 23 inches. So fairly narrow, 23. But if you're only doing a solo thing and you're not a big guy, I should be able to get away with that. The one I had one that I used on my camping trip that was 20 inches. That was not wide enough. Not quite. So 3 inches, a little bit extra. R value of 1.3, not super high, but this is seriously the smallest one that I've seen so far for an inflated. Inflates with 5 to 8 breaths. That seems ambitious. Maybe you have some Andre the Giant lungs, but either way, these things are, I'm not going to roll this big sleeping pad up. I'm assuming it's the same exact color and fabric as this. This is super lightweight, only 13 ounces. Great. Static V Recon 3/4 length sleeping pad. So it is a little shorter one. Oh yeah, 47. So this is the one that's just supposed to cover your, from your shoulders down to your ass, and then like your feet can lay on your gear and stuff. That's why they managed to get this so small. But that's not always a bad thing, especially if you're doing backpacking style camping, where you really want to keep your size and your weight down. You can get this, and then maybe you could even use this quote-unquote seat cushion as like a little thing to prop up your feet on, and roll up some of your clothes or gear in between. Save a lot of space there. This feels like some kind of whoopee poncho liner, something like that. Oh, mosquito net. Nice. So this is not just a head net, this is actually a full mosquito net. Excellent. Around here, especially in Florida, you cannot fuck around with the mosquito protection, man. You have to be ready to seriously wage war against those fuckers, either with completely blocking them, like with a mosquito net like this, or with serious chemical warfare. And honestly, like even if you're going 100% DEET and everything, if you're exposed, eventually they're gonna start biting you. There's just too many of them. Like it'll help for a while, but eventually one of them will get brave and just come stick you. When I was in junior year of ROTC, we had to do our junior project. It's basically like, not boot camp because it wasn't that difficult or that long, but it was sort of like the closest thing to boot camp that you have to do in ROTC. It's called advanced camp, and it's just a month long. And you go to, we went to Fort Lewis in Washington, and the mosquitoes up there were not nearly as dense as they are down here in Florida, but they were huge. They were like birds, man. You could hear them coming like, bzzz, and then you'd feel it smack into your skin, and they could bite you through the BDUs. And I'm talking about like a t-shirt. I'd have a t-shirt on and like the combat, like, you know, like the BDU pants and the jacket. And they could blast through those things. Like they're like these hummingbird-sized things, like piercing you with a proboscis. It was like a hypodermic needle. And I had my head net, because I knew that I don't fuck around when it comes to mosquito protection, being from Florida. So I brought that because I knew we'd be sleeping in the field in just a bivy sack and stuff. And there was this one little girl, this little mousy little girl, who on one of the nights we were out there, she had forgotten her mosquito net, and she was suffering, I could tell. And she didn't really complain about it, but I knew just how bad it was, and I felt so bad for her because these mosquitoes were like just fucking brutal, man. And I had the DEET spray too, so I was like, here, just use this for tonight. I'll go with the spray because, you know, I'm such a fucking gentleman. Look at me. Oh, I'm such a gentleman. And yeah, so I went a whole night without having that thing on. Man, that was like brutal. I don't think I slept more than like 3 seconds. I was like, fuck this, man. You're not my girlfriend. Give me that thing back. No, I'm joking. But I only let her use it for one night because I think she got hers after that. But that sucked. So you got to have your mosquito netting, and more of it, the better. And in a survival situation, you could use this for a net, you could use it for a strainer, you could use it for all sorts of different stuff. You can like a net to get shrimp or minnows or something. You can do all sorts of cool stuff with a different sized mesh like that. There's a Battlebox branded flask, very lightweight, nice and cool. Stainless steel 7-ounce flask, not a bad idea. This is great obviously for water. You theoretically could boil something in this. It's only got a tiny little lid though and only 7 ounces, but if you needed to, you could boil water in this. Use it as a reflecting device, and you can use it to get wasted. This looks like a sleeping bag. This is a great camping batch. I mean, like seriously, this is like most of what you would need to go on a camping trip. Repels water, oil, and stains. Teflon shield. I'm assuming this is a sleeping bag, but I guess we'll find out. Could be a blow-up doll. No, don't worry, it's not. But it's got a stuff sack in it. If it is a sleeping bag, it's a fairly lightweight one, nice and small. But if you're in a place where you're gonna have to worry about mosquitoes and everything, you probably don't need that heavy of a sleeping bag. Let's see if I can make sure I'm keeping this under here. Alright, so it is indeed a sleep. I'm liking the color of this, all this gear. I like the, I guess you would call this a coyote brown, foliage green, something close to it. This feels like a pretty slick sleeping bag. And this is Battlebox brand 5 degree Celsius survival That's a good sleeping bag, man. I like it. Digging it. Mummy style. Good deal. Appears like it's, yeah. Green on the inside as well. Got some kind of little pocket here. Let's see what that is. Does this go all the way through, or is it an external pocket? Yeah, it goes through. So if you need to, you can reach out of here, turn off your little hanging fan light without having to actually pull the sleeping bag all the way down. Pretty cool feature there. Need to, if someone needs to, you know, reach into your sleeping bag at night for some funny business, you got that too. And it's a thicker, more water resistant bottom. Excellent, man. That's a pretty, seems like a pretty quality sleeping bag. I'll have to try, and obviously you can get it down pretty small. Definitely is more substantial than I would have thought given the size of the bag. So 5 degrees Celsius, if I'm assuming that's what they mean with the C. It's a big C though. But either way, that's obviously 5 degrees would be just above freezing for Celsius, whereas if it was Fahrenheit it would be quite a bit below freezing. But either way, yeah, this is a temperate weather sleeping bag. Sleeping pad, partial sleeping pad, 3/4 length, mosquito net, seat cushion / leg pillow, body pillow, head pillow, Boker Swiss Army style knife. You got your flask. We got our camp fan / light, and this thing, which I still gonna try and figure out what this is. Coaster? I don't know. Let me see. I'm thinking a strainer. Let's see if it says. Yeah, it is a silicone collapsible coffee drip percolator. Probably could have figured that out a little quicker, except I don't drink coffee. It's not my particular jam. Never got into coffee. I'll stick with the booze and Mountain Dew, I guess, if I need a caffeine. But yeah, I never really started becoming a coffee drinker. But if you need to make yourself some coffee, you can use this little dripper. Silicone, so it can take the high temperatures. And so that's not something that I would probably use. But this is a pretty good box overall, man, if you needed a good starting batch for some camping gear. So that's the mission, is comfort and convenience. Yeah. So this is the Pro Plus box like last time. And the estimated value of everything in this box is well over $300, which is not surprising, talking about a good sleeping bag. If you go into an REI, man, start pricing stuff, whew! It's all cool though, man. It's dangerous to walk in one of theirs if you have any money to spend. Pretty awesome. Pretty good box. This is the one item that I would say is probably appears to be beneath the rest in terms of quality. But it could still be useful. It's just a big clunky kind of made in Chinese thing, but I mean, like a light and fan is a good thing to have, especially the light. But I don't know if this would be the one you would choose if you were not getting the box, but it doesn't seem to be a bad, or it doesn't seem to be useless, but I don't think it's up to par with the rest of the stuff. This is pretty quality from what it appears anyway. Or at least incredibly useful. Super lightweight. You gotta have this stuff. You gotta have your pillow, you gotta have your sleeping bag, the mosquito net. So like essential, a pretty good starting batch of essential gear for 150 bucks, if you ask me. Because when I had to get a sleeping bag, that one that I ended up turning it back in because it was just a little bit too small, and I didn't have any more nights left anyway, so I was like, all right, might as well just turn it back in. If I get another one, I'll get one slightly bigger. That was 100 bucks for the Neo, what was it, Neo Camper by Thermarest. That was $99.95. So this would be a great one for backpacking because of the smaller size. A little bit more wide. You get your shoulders all the way down to your hips. Just your feet are hanging off, and it saves you a lot of space here. And then you can put one of these under your feet, prop them up on rolled up clothing or whatever, or just not even need anything. Most of the time my feet aren't uncomfortable. You just need shoulders, or especially if you're someone who can sleep on your back, then yeah, this would be fine. You put one of these between your knees or something. you'll be good to go, man. Pretty good box overall. I will make some videos testing the gear from the last box too, because that has more stuff that will actually be interesting to watch me use it. Some people may be interested in watching me sleep, but it's not really what I get into in this channel. But I could maybe set up, show you what it looks like folded out and things like that. So that's cool, man. Check out Battlebox at battlebox.com, no E. Check out all the gear they have. It's all sorts of stuff like that, prepping, survival, camping, outdoors, all that stuff. This one I was pleasantly surprised with, man. I really like a good set of camping gear. Good stuff. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.